Beyond the Junkyard. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Beyond the Junkyard podcast. We are live and in living color on this beautiful Thursday evening. I am Junkyard James, your host. As always, I have the man, the myth, the legend, Cody Marinara. How are you doing, my friend?
Tell you what, Jamie, we need some sauce on the pot. We need some sauce on the stovetop just to get warm. It is freezing, and we're not even hitting A, winter, but B, it's North Carolina. We don't experience things like this very often this early in the cooler time of the year. It's a little chilly, but I am doing well, sir. Glad to be with you. Glad to be with the Junkyard Nation. How the hell are you doing, sir?
I am doing fantastic, my friend. We have a jam-packed wrestling show for you tonight. Now, I want to bring up this comment that just popped in because it leads into some housekeeping that we're going to talk about. Mr. Beatley says, I'm trying to pull it up on the screen, he wants a Let's Get Saucy shirt. Let's make it happen. Now listen, sir, we are always in the mode of creating new product designs, and while we're in creation of these new designs, go over to beyondthejunkyard.com and look at our current options that we have. We have our logo shirt, like the one in the middle. We have the logo shirt with the QR code on the back of the shirt. And then you have my catchphrase that I'm, quote unquote, totally unbiased. And that's a sarcastic phrase, being unbiased, because obviously I'm biased towards AEW, but we have all of that on the website, multiple different styles and colors, and go ahead and check it out, beyondthejunkyard.com. And at checkout, use the code unbiased for 30% off your order there. I want to make a preface on this, though. You're going to look at the shipping costs of these freaking t-shirts. I want to let you guys know, I don't create the price of shipping. That is totally on the back end. And when you see the cost of shipping, you're going to want to hit decline order because the shipping cost is quite astronomical. I myself bought a couple samples, and I still had to pay shipping on top of it. And so I spent quite a bit of money on a couple samples, so I can put them on, wear them on the show, show y'all what they look like. So maybe I'll write it off as a tax write-off or something. I don't know. Anyway, some more things. Look, the description box below the video, and you'll find links to WWE Shop, where you can buy your merchandise as we lead into the holiday season. If you use our link, you help support the podcast. Same thing with StubHub. Holiday season's coming. Someone you may know may want to buy tickets to some event. Maybe you want to get resale tickets for the Creed concerts that are coming out for the 2025 tour. Maybe you can find them on StubHub after they're bought, because I think Live Nation runs that, so it might just be a Ticketmaster exclusive, to be honest. but you might be able to find something like that on StubHub. You use our link and you can find out and get those tickets. And then W Energy always powers this podcast, and got to give some support for them. If you go to w.gg and use the code Beyond the Yard and the discount code there, you'll get a 10% discount and we'll support the podcast. Today, though, we got a pretty good show for you. Let's jump right in. I want to start with kind of the icebreaker here, where we're going to just break down maybe our favorite or least favorite moment of Dynamite Winter is Coming from last night. We're then going to break into a discussion on the convoluted mess that is the AEW Heavyweight Championship title picture. And then we're going to end the show with a new segment that I am going to be calling Let's Get Saucy, where my co-host here, Cody Marinera, is told me about a website where we can do some quizzes, and I have found a quiz for him. He knows the topic, but he hasn't seen the quiz yet, and so that'll be fun. We'll end the show with that and see if he can answer all of the quiz questions within whatever allotted time frame on this quiz. But let's get going. I'm gonna have you start with your favorite or least favorite, or just an interesting topic that you thought of from last night's Dynamite. Winter is Coming.
Yeah, I thought it was I thought it was a solid show overall. I really enjoyed Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa. I thought it was a good match. I thought they probably, to me, it seemed like maybe the timing of the match, and I know they had an overrun, but I felt like they could have gone a little bit longer, and I don't know if there's maybe some timing issues, that maybe a segment went overran a little bit or whatever. I kind of felt like they were rushing a little bit into the match, but I thought it was a good match overall. Obviously, the return of Toni Storm in her OG kind of gimmick was very fun. Crowd ate it up. Crowd loved it. Another thing that kind of stuck out to me that after watching last night that has stuck with me tonight, the segment with Takeshita, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Callis. I thought it was interesting how, Hobbs called a shot with wanting Takeshita, and Callis saying, yeah, you deserve a shot. We'll make it happen. But, he's the international championship. We got to defend this championship in Japan and Portugal and all that. And he's like, but we'll make it happen. Man, you deserve it. You deserve it. We'll get back to you. And then, right before they walk off, Hobbs takes him back and says, you're damn right. I do deserve it. Better get back to me. That whole thing there was really fascinating to watch. Kind of seeing where that trajectory of that feud or that potential storyline is going to set up. And Ricochet pulling out the MVP card. That was interesting. That's going to set up an interesting dynamic over the next few weeks, months, and all that stuff regarding the MVP card. Who is he luring away? Obviously, Caster is involved in trying to be lured away, and Ricochet. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see where this kind of takes off. Hobbs joining the Hurt Syndicate would be really kind of cool, I think. Would really help. I think would help him elevate his overall persona with having savvy vets with Shelton and Lashley and obviously MVP. So a couple things I really took away from last night that I thought were really good, really interesting, and obviously we'll get to kind of our topic with the convoluted world title scene, and that's a topic in and of itself. But overall I thought the show flowed pretty well, and I thought setting up pretty nicely here as we are just a few short weeks away from World's End.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I go in on my best, worst, whatever on the show, Got to give a shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, DJ Wavy D, saying glad to see you guys on my TV screen. Hey, if you join in the chat, we're going to feature you on the show. Glad to see you here, Wavy D. Let us know if you watched AEW Winter is Coming last night. Let us know what's going on. The biggest thing that I found interesting was that WrestleNomics has not released their hour-by-hour breakdown or their quarter-by-quarter breakdown of the show last night. I pay for that on Patreon, and I was expecting to be able to see where everything goes for. They haven't released that yet. But in terms of the show itself, you bring up Ricochet, and he pulls out the MVP Hurt Business card, or Hurt Syndicate card. And I'm telling everyone, you have been worked with his social media persona for the past couple weeks. These podcast episodes that he's been going on, talking about how he basically told a lot of people to suck his dick on social media, and he's gotten a lot of people to kind of hate him. And he's doing a good job of it, because I think you're transitioning Ricochet's character. He came into AEW as an overwhelming babyface, and it would be very difficult for someone with that much love from the fan base to treat him as a heel. And so it's a slow progression, and I think he put a big risk on the table taking this to social media to kind of get the character generated, to get actual heat. But I think that's the way it's going. He's working, y'all. He's going to become this massive heel, and I'm here for it. And I like that part. I think another interesting piece was, I think Thunder Rosa was ringside for the Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May match. And I love it. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you where I think this is leading up real quick. Where's All In this year?
Yeah, it's in Texas, the home state of one Miss Rosa.
Thunder Rosa. AEW likes to use big moments like this to do big storylines for hometown talent. 2 years in a row now, at All In, we've had big moments from British women. First, it was Saraya winning the women's title, and then Mariah May and her moment at All In, winning the title there, I believe. And I think that's where it's leading. I think Thunder Rosa is going to get an opportunity to either fight. I think she'll fight for the main belt, and she'll probably win the main belt. Remember, she never lost her title. She was kind of forced out due to injury. My question would be, is I wonder if with Toni Storm now back in her quote-unquote original character, will she win the belt back from Mariah May, and then they're just going to act like the last year and a half, 2 years since Thunder Rosa held the belt didn't exist, and just kind of continue the storyline that they were going with Thunder Rosa trying to get the belt back from Toni Storm, or I'm interested to see where that leads. Does Thunder Rosa want Mariah May? Because now that Toni Storm is back as a face, Thunder Rosa is kind of a face and would be the face in Texas. That would be hard to have a face v face. So I don't know where it goes. I like where it's going. It's intrigue. You're using different people in the women's division. Now, Alvarez talked on his show today that people within AEW are appalled that Tony Khan is putting the return match of Toni Storm on this week's Rampage episode. She's fighting Harley Cameron on Rampage. And for a show that has 3 more episodes left, presumed. that to me feels. I agree with Alvarez on this. It seems like a wasted opportunity to put a bigger match, put the match on a bigger setting than just a Rampage. I get Tony Khan wants the Rampage to kind of go out on a good note, but Tony Storm deserves a little bit of a better audience than a Rampage match to have her return, in my opinion. We got some people talking about in the comment section. Mr. Beatley's back in here saying Ricochet isn't even creative. He just said this is just the story that WWE rejected. He vowed to get into the Hurt business, but Vince said no. Well, you know what? Vince said no, and Tony Khan said yes, and it's going to make AEW big bucks because I love the Hurt Syndicate. We got Gore Guts. I'm not quite sure who you are. Thank you for watching the show, Gore Guts. He says it's not a work. He has the personality of a cabbage and the mentality of a mid-card gymnast. Don't you dare say that to good old Pretty Ricky. I like Ricochet. I think he's in the Continental Classic, correct?
Ricochet, yeah.
I think he's going to lose a lot of matches, and him losing a lot of these matches is what is going to get him to turn heel. Like, he can't do it clean, he can't do it his way, so he's just going to do it MVP's way and turn heel and join the Hurt Syndicate. But let's turn to the big topic at hand. And it's this convoluted story between Jon Moxley, Orange Cassidy, Hangman Page, Jay White in the forefront, and then Christian Cage kind of in the background, and then even further in the background, Darby Allin. There's like 6 guys in this title scene. And while I normally would be okay with WWE or AEW or any wrestling promotion kind of giving us the idea of, okay, here's the next couple people in line. It just doesn't feel like there's a whole lot that, like, they're giving us all 4 at World's End. They had a fatal 4-way for the belt. Presumably Moxley will win that match. But at the same time, it's World's End, so is Christian Cage going to cash in at this point? Where does Darby fit? Like, there's just a lot of loose ends that I don't know where they end up. And with the idea of World's End seemingly being it's the end of the current story progression, at least that's what it was last year with Maxwell, MJF, and Adam Cole. It was the end of MJF's title reign. What's going on with the title scene? It's just, when it happened, when all 5 of these people showed up kind of at the end of what was the last pay-per-view?
Full Gear.
Full Gear. When all of them showed up at Full Gear, I was like, okay, they're giving us the progression. It's going to go X, Y, Z, and then the finale is going to be Darby Allin standing on top. And instead, they're giving us X, Y, and Z at the same time, and it just doesn't feel like. I feel like Tony Khan's rushing here a little bit. He could have done World's End, next year's Revolution, next year's Double or Nothing, next year's All In, with these next 5 people or 4 people in line. But it looks like we're getting a rushed story to the end here. What can you make a little bit of sense of this convoluted mess that we have right now?
I could see it being a little bit of shotgun booking in a way that we're putting too many cooks in the kitchen, and which is on one token, like, yes, the entire goal of a pro wrestler is, most of them, to be the world champion, and that's what just about everybody in a promotion is going to want to be, is world champion. So the thought process of all these guys coming out to saying that, hey, I want to be the world champion, and doing it at the same time, it makes sense in a way, but at the same time, I feel some of these are feuds that are taking place for one guy to stop the other. Like Cassidy wants to stop, Moxley and be the hero of AEW, and to, return the title back to AEW lore, versus it being in the hands of the Death Riders and Moxley. You got Jay White, who feels he deserves a shot, and that whole scenario. And Heyman has been feuding with Jay White, so they're kind of just trying to top each other, but they've infiltrated themselves into the world title feud because, Heyman wants it, this and that. So, yeah, a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and I wonder if this is more of a smorgasbord just to put as much talent on a card as possible to load it up and draw, ticket sales, pay-per-view buys, whatever the case you want to call it. The one thing I will say that AEW usually doesn't do this type of thing with the world title. They usually will do, your standard one-on-one matches. And every now and then we'll get a triple threat. And in rare occasions, we've had the Fatal 4-Way for the world title. One comes to mind is, I believe, 2023 or 22. I want to say it's 23. Whenever it was the Four Pillars with Guevara, Jack Perry, MJF, and that was a Fatal 4-Way, but it was, the OG originals from AEW battling to see who is the top pillar, who's carrying the company. This is not that type of scenario. This is a lot of feuds going into one, and the way it's World's End, so, raises stakes a little bit by putting the world title on the line with the Orange Cassidy and Moxley feud, and then feud, and then infiltrating the Heyman and Jay White feud into the world title scene as well. Kind of ending a bunch of those stories at once, and then maybe starting over, obviously with New Year coming up. So I think that's maybe to me, that's what it seems like the direction is going, is that we're ending a few different feuds in one, culminating with the world title as the ultimate top for this. And obviously you've got Christian in the background. Who knows what that, who knows if, when that opportunity will show up.
Right.
So I think to me, that's the direction I see it. Does it make it very convoluted and hard to follow? Yes, it does. But this is not something that AEW is known to do with the world title. It's do this kind of smorgasbord booking with it, like we're kind of seeing right now. So not that they get a free pass or nothing like that. Obviously, it is not ideal, but, we have 2 TVs to go to kind of see where this ends up. And then obviously we got World's End, and whatever happens with the outcome of that, we'll get into the new year and see what kind of happens after that.
Yeah, absolutely. And my biggest fear with this is they put the belt on. Well, I'll put it this way. It almost feels too predictable that Moxley is going to win the Fatal 4-Way, because we have Darby Allin in the background. And from all of the backstage talk for all of this past summer, Darby Allin was supposed to be the guy to beat Bryan Danielson until Danielson said, hold the brakes. I want Moxley to beat me. And so, knowing that I know Darby Allin's the end-all, be-all to be the guy, but I also know, and I think it's March of 2025, he still plans on climbing Mount Everest. So I know they're not going to put the belt on him and have him be an active champion and be the guy to climb Mount Everest with the belt. And so I don't know if they're just trying to stall for time and make sure that he comes back alive, because I mean, that is a real threat that Darby climbs Everest and never comes back down the mountain. Though that dude can get hit by a bus and a bunch of other things and survive. So I'm sure a mountain wouldn't. He's just going to climb it and come back down in like record time. And but like I feel like that's what this is that they're just stalling for time to find the right opportunity to give Darby Allin the title, but it almost makes the title picture really predictable in terms of who is going to win the matches going forward, because you can't put the belt on Hangman Page and then have him feud with Darby because there's no connection there. You can't have him fight with Jay White because there's no connection. Like, it has to be Moxley that Darby takes the belt from because they've built his character to feud with the Death Riders. And then Orange Cassidy, like, I get why Orange Cassidy is in this match, but like, to be completely honest, he had his opportunity and he lost. So the fact that he is back in the title scene again, it's like I would almost enjoy this more if it was a triple threat, or if it was a fatal four-way and Christian Cage weaseled his way into it to make it a fatal four-way and cashed in that way, like mid-match or whatever. Like he would have been like the Seth Rollins cashing in mid-match against Brock and Roman Reigns kind of thing. Like I would have appreciated that more than just throwing basically two stories together and saying we're just going to throw these two stories into one big story and really not have a rhyme or reason. Because like I said on the Full Gear review show, like there's obviously a reason that Hangman wants the belt, and he came back months ago and said he's going to stop for nothing. Like, he's not here to make friends. Anybody can get their ass kicked. He's here to win the AEW championship again. So it makes sense why he's going after the belt. And it made sense at the time to have Jay White interrupt Christian Cage because Christian Cage injured Jay White in the Owen tournament. But to not even continue that story with Christian Cage and Jay White, now you have Christian Cage and Hook feuding in the background. You assume Christian Cage will have a match with Hook at World's End. So is Christian Cage going to fight twice in one night? Like, what's going on there? And so there's just a lot of loose ends that hopefully, like you said, in the next couple of weeks, they can clean up before we get to the pay-per-view. Because to be honest with you, that main card, like the biggest match, I guess, for World's End right now would be the finals for the Continental Classic, in my book. And the weird part about the finals for the Continental Classic is we're going to have the semifinal matches and the finals matches on World's End.
Yeah, they're going to have the semifinal and the finals in that. And then you've also got the culmination of the Dynamite ring between Adam Cole and MJF finishing off that feud, which I'm pretty sure we thought we saw coming. We thought that would happen, and I'm glad it's happening. I understand that feud was kind of dead and buried for about a year, but there was no finality with that feud. MJF kind of came back and kicked Adam Cole in the balls at Double or Nothing, and it kind of left that because Adam was still dealing and rehabbing with that ankle injury that they couldn't finish off the feud. And now that Adam Cole's back in the ring, we're able to finish this feud, and I think they're doing it the right way. Hopefully this is the end of the feud where whatever happens, and then we move on. New fresh storylines, new fresh feuds into 25, and end the world feud with Cole and MJF at World's End.
Wouldn't it be something And it kind of almost makes sense to have the Adam Cole feud and the MJF feud end at World's End, because it was at World's End last year where Adam Cole revealed to MJF that he was the guy behind the devil mask. So to have it come full fruition there, and that should be the ending of that feud. It almost feels to me like Tony Khan is focused on putting matches together for Wrestle Dynasty in January in Tokyo Dome, then kind of putting on a decent and I get World's End's not a big 3 pay-per-view for AEW, but it's like your last pay-per-view of the year. It's your last chance to make a big impression. Like, and I don't get the sense that, like, I thought Full Gear was probably AEW's worst pay-per-view of 2024. And I don't have the feeling that World's End is going to be any better than Full Gear in terms of what we're going to get in matches. And obviously, the worst pay-per-view for AEW is like the best or a mid pay-per-view in WWE. Like I would have taken Full Gear over Bash at Berlin, or the Saudi show that just happened, but. It was the worst AEW pay-per-view, and I feel like World's End, at least in its build-up, is leading to be a bottom-tier pay-per-view this year. We got a comment on here from Mr. Beatley. There it is. It's the comparing for. It's to build a comparison. It's to build what I'm trying to say. There is a reason. Anyways, Wavy D puts in here, the story from Full Gear wasn't that bad. The pacing and camera work was just really, I'm assuming he means bad there. I can agree with that maybe. The segment at Full Gear, like, I was excited to see the segment at Full Gear, right? Were you excited to see all of that? Like, it came so quick that, oh, okay, there's so much going on. Like, what's going to happen? It's just the follow-through that they haven't gotten right. Like, I thought the segment at Full Gear was great. Now, you had four pay-per-views worth of feuds that you could build there, and it feels like the follow-through was, nah, we'll just give it to you all at once.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said that I wonder if the thought process is, once they kind of did that ending of Full Gear, that we either just culminated a bunch of these feuds that are going on simultaneously and just interjected into the one match with the world title at World's End, or, yeah, the storyline coming out of Full Gear was that the Death Riders, have taken a stranglehold with the world title, and anybody who is an AEW fighter or, hero, OG, whatever you want to call it, is going to stop at nothing to try to get the grips with the world title and then control of the company out from the Death Riders' hands and Moxley's hands. And if Hangman and Jay White had been like, you know what, screw the feud, need to go after the world title, I think that would make a little bit more sense going into that. But at the same time, they're still feuding in a way. So,
right.
I just think that maybe the intertwinings of the booking was like, maybe we should just blow this all off at once, kind of end it, put a button on most of these feuds. So that way, when we go into 2025, we've got kind of a not a totally blank canvas, but a canvas that is going to be doing different endings to, or different beginnings to different views, new feuds, fresh faces, this and that. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure with that comment. I don't recall. I'm not saying he didn't say that.
Yeah, so I believe he did say that this was a clusterfuck, and he was not a big supporter. I think there were a couple people on the other Discord server that I'm a part of that kind of agree with this, that it was just kind of a mess to begin with, and confusing, and I understand it from that point of view, and whatever, you can get your acknowledgement. You're not my tribal chief, and Roman Reigns is still one of the worst wrestlers ever, but I don't know. Wavy D says, F this tournament. Tony Khan said 2024 was going to be the year of Daniel Garcia. Listen, it was, but Daniel Garcia took way too damn long to frickin' sign his contract. And so wait for 2025. Wait for 2025. I think Daniel Garcia will have a nice run in 2025. Just give it a
Guy's TNT champion. I mean, he's gotten pushed as the top single besides the world champion. I mean, he's got his push. Yeah, it took a little while to get there, but I mean, hey, he's ending 2024 on a high note. It's in the Continental Classic, TNT champion. I think he's had, it was a subpar to the beginning and middle of 2024, and again on a high note for Mr. Garcia. So it's only up and up from here going to 2025.
Absolutely, my friend. All right, we're going to end this show getting a little saucy here. And let's break it down. Let me pull it up. And now, once I hit start quiz, that's when we begin. Let me make sure I have the quiz pulled up correctly. Here we go. Here is our quiz for today. Let me get it pulled up here. This thing sometimes takes a little too long to. There we go. TNA Impact Wrestling AJ Styles opponents. Let me make this a little bigger for y'all seeing on your screens. Make us a little smaller. Make
wow.
A little bigger. There we go. You see
this is going to be fun.
It says, can you name everyone that faced the Phenomenal One on a TNA monthly pay-per-view event, weekly pay-per-views and one night only or Impact only events are excluded. Battle Royal matches are excluded. I don't know how long you get.
Hopefully a couple minutes, because man, that's
once I hit start.
That's 9 years worth of pay-per-views to go through. Good Lord.
I want to show you where this. I want you to see this. This goes from 2004, and we scroll all the way down to 2013, I believe it is. So he had a lot of matches and a lot of opponents. They're already naming some in the chat, so I guess you can cheat if you want. But listen, you said AJ Styles outside of Sting is one of your favorite pro wrestlers of all time. I expect you to get most of these.
We'll see. So,
here we go, my friend. Once I hit start quiz, start throwing them at me, and I will put them in here for you.
Okay.
Are you ready, my friend?
I guess. We'll try to see what we got. I'm trying to go in order.
Here we go.
So,
7 minutes.
Victory Road, it was an exhibition championship match between him and P.D. Williams. Turning Point was a six-man tag. I believe he faced the Kings of Wrestling, which were Jeff Jarrett, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall. I'll wait for you to kind of update that. With the final resolution, that was a three-way Ultimate X match. It was him, P.D. Williams, and I believe that was Chris Sabin that was with them on that one. The 30-minute Iron Man match between him and I believe that was Christopher Daniels. And then the four-way X match had Daniels. I think Elix Skipper was one in that match. Man, I don't know who that last person was at Destination X. Lockdown 05, that was against Abyss. Slammiversary was a King of the Mountain match. It was him, Abyss, Jeff. No, Jeff was. Type in Raven. I don't think Raven was a part of that. Put Monty Brown. I believe he was part of that King of the Mountain match. I'm not sure who that other one in that one is. We'll have to kind of skip along that. Oh man, No Surrender. I'm not 100% sure who he faced in a one-on-one match at No Surrender. I'm gonna skip that one. Sacrifice. I don't know who he faced in that Super X Cup tournament final. I'll have to skip that as well. Unbreakable, the best triple threat match in wrestling history between him, Daniels, and Samoa Joe.
There's a lot for Samoa Joe there.
Yeah. Okay. So that's who we fought. Okay. Triple threat. Final Resolution 2006. That was, I believe, AJ versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Yeah. Okay. Lockdown 06. It was a 4v4 lockdown match. So that was Jeff Jarrett, AMW, Chris Harris, and James Storm. And hold on, who the hell else was in that match? Jeff Jarrett, Steiner. Scott Steiner was in that match as well.
EINER?
Yep, there you go. And then he got to be in a tag team with him and Daniels. They did the whole thing at Slammiversary, Victory Road. He was part of that 6-person tag match with AMW. And I don't know who in the world they teamed with. In Victory Road, that 6-person tag. I'm not 100% sure. Hard Justice. I believe this is where it was them versus Daniels and AJ versus LAX, Homicide and Hernandez. And they also fought at No Surrender and Bound for Glory. They had a trilogy match there. And it was phenomenal. That Ultimate X match with Hernandez, crazy. That steel cage match, Bound for Glory, was great. Genesis 06. Oh my gosh, I do not know. I have to keep scrolling down to where are we at there? Lockdown 07. It was he did actually face Sting in that, as AJ was a heel at this point. Let's see. Go back. Okay, there we go. I was going to say I couldn't quite see. I don't remember who he fought at Turning Point. Final Resolution was a last man standing match. Oh my gosh. Elevation X, he fought Rhino. Might have been, he fought him at Final Resolution and Against All Odds as well. Let's see. Sorry, it's a little delayed. I'm trying to catch up to see what else we got. There we go. Lockdown 07. It was Sting, Joe, Jarrett, Rhino. Who else was the faces that they faced in that match? Sting, Samoa Joe, Jeff Jarrett, Rhino, Angle. Kurt Angle was in that match too, I believe. Let's see. That's going to take a lot of them off the table as well. Yep. Slammiversary 07, Chris Harris was in that. Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, Christian Cage was in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't know who else was in that.
Come on, let me type.
I'm not sure. 07 Slammiversary. Golly, who else was in that? Was Harris? Did you type in Chris Harris? I thought you did, but try it again. There it is. Okay. 07. Put in Andrew Martin. That was Test, and it was one of his only, if only, TNA pay-per-views he was in. 07 Bound for Glory. That was in Atlanta. I don't know if he was in a tag team match against Pac-Man Jones and Ron the Truth Killings. Put in Truth. I don't know who he face in that match? Ron
Killings, but not Pac-Man Jones.
Oh, put in Creed. Consequences Creed maybe took his place in that match. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. AKA Xavier Woods.
Yep. 30 seconds. Probably not going to get to the rest of these, but I mean, we'll keep going as much as we can. Against all odds. Oh, wait, I don't know who he faced in the tag team match. Keep going down. We're too much time. Not gonna be able to get all the rest of these. There's so many now that I'm missing, but I was trying to go in order, and that can sometimes not be a good thing. And that's what you get. Got quite a bit. I'm trying to go in order, and that didn't really exactly help my cause.
Average score is 126, and you scored 126. So hey, look, you would have done a lot better than I would have taken this. I
want to see some of the first ones that I missed there.
Using too much.
Sean Waltman, that's who was in there. Okay. Yep, that makes sense now. Up until like 08 is where Gail Kim. Oh, Lord
Gail Kim.
Days. That's why I didn't get it, because I totally forgot they were in that. She was in that match. Oh, let's see. Got quite a bit of those there, and then
Eric Young.
So BG James,
Matt Morgan.
Matt Morgan. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that one. Awesome Kong. Good Lord, what in the hell?
Brother Ray.
Frank Trigg. I would have not gotten
Brother
that
Ray,
one.
Devon.
I totally forgot the fact Frank Trigg was in TNA. He was a Kurt Angle lookalike. It was kind of scary.
Wavy D said, if Cody was in charge of that keyboard, he might have finished the list.
Yeah, and it felt like it was a little bit of a delay on my end. I don't know, maybe if you were, I don't want to say you were struggling with typing, but I felt like it was a delay to where whatever I was saying, I'm like, all right, once he types it in, it should show up. But I didn't know if it was a buffer, if it was delayed. I don't know. But then you get to the
James
08, 09s, 10s.
Foley.
Matt Morgan, yep. Hernandez. D'Angelo De Niro, yep. RVD, Jay Lethal. Some of the next ones I was going to mention was Booker T, Jay Lethal, RVD. I probably would have not guessed Rob Terry as a pay-per-view match. I do remember Rob Terry. He was part of that British Invasion with him and Magnus. Tommy Dreamer, Stevie Richards, Sabu. Kendrick, I would have not guessed that one. Probably wouldn't have guessed Stevie Richards or Sabu. And then once you get to like 2012 and 2013, the Bully Ray, the Hardys, the Rudes, Kazarians. The fact Eric Bischoff is listed on a damn match in TNA, it's WCW all over again. So there you go. As you can see, there's quite a bit of a repetitive couple names in there with Daniels and Angle and Joe. Just some of his just long running successful feuds he had. So that was fun. That was exhilarating. Maybe that'll be something we do each week. If you guys have a quiz that you find, let us know, and we'll do it. And
yes,
maybe I'll turn the tables and do it to where our host over here.
I also think for 190 whatever answers, 7 minutes is quite a short fucking amount of time.
I didn't even see how long I had it. I just started keeping names.
Here we go. Wavy D got a question for you.
Oh,
it's a bonus question.
Okay.
I guess he wanted to throw it in. Here we go. I'll put it on the screen for you. If it'll load. Come on, stupid thing.
It went away. I didn't even see it.
Nope. There it is. Nope. Yeah, I think I clicked it twice on accident. There you go. Which former Super J Cup winner once wrestled by the name the Pegasus Kid?
That would be Mr. Chris Benoit.
I know this answer. Yes, sir. Now we're going to get kicked off of YouTube, but it's okay.
Well, you know, it happens. It happens.
It happens. And then We Too Deep, my brother, Mr. Beatley, says, and 4 different comments, so I can't show the whole thing, react to my video. All right, we'll react to your video on the next episode. Well, no, because our next episode is going to be the prediction show for World's End, unless you want to react to his video on your birthday next week. I was going to let you have the week off. But I'll leave that up to you, I guess.
We'll keep that as to be determined. As of now, I would lean 51-49 that, sure, why not? Maybe next week we do a reaction video, a reaction live stream, the video he sent, and then maybe another quiz or 2, and just kind of make it a very relaxing, enjoying episode. And, yeah, we'll see. It sounds like a plan to me.
All righty. Well, that is all we have planned for you today here on the Beyond the Junkyard podcast. Programming note. Next Tuesday, sometime in the wee hours of the Eastern time zone.
Going into the wee hours of the morning, Wednesday morning.
Be on the lookout.
Europe and Russia will be able to watch this at their regular hours of 9 p.m. Eastern or 9 p.m. Russian time. I mean, it'll be great.
Be on the lookout. Oh, yes. Here we go. For the Slapping Meat Year-End Award Show. You got the people in our comment section, DJ Wavy D and We Too Deep, my brother. Their show, they do a yearly award show talking about the best of pro wrestling of the year. We'll be joined by a couple guests. I know Mr. Nerdy D of the casual wrestling community will be there. And then 1 or 2 other people, I believe, will be there as well that I personally haven't worked with. But it'll be an exciting time to all see what we thought the best of the best and the most improved of everything was in 2024. I had my list made about a week and a half ago. I know you said off the air you haven't even started your list yet. So
just wanted to make sure, and it's not because I'm a late bloomer and I'm a procrastinator. You know, we had a couple more things of wrestling. You never know if something just happens to spark your mind. So I didn't want to make my list and have to cancel it out. But it will be done this weekend, and I will be prepared for next Tuesday. I promise.
Perfect. Well, stay tuned to the Slapping Meat Wrestling Podcast YouTube page to see our wonderful mugshots on that show. And I'll have to get a Stay Saucy shirt up on the website for you for our next time we meet. My friend, any last words before we kick the can down the road to the next episode?
I don't. I thought fun episode. Like I said, maybe next week we'll have a very laid back, fun episode where we can just kind of enjoy a couple little things and may celebrate a brewski or 2 on my birthday. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, be on the lookout for the Stay Saucy shirt. Maybe you'll see it pop around on the social media and on the website. That'd be cool. And down the road, we'll have to invest. Keep calm and slap meat. I want royalties for that. I gave you that. I think I gave you that idea this afternoon. I don't remember. Maybe down the road, we'll create our own junkyard marinara sauce. For yours truly. That's 10 years down the road. We're not even there yet. So I got to first put a sauce together to even do that. Junkyard hard cider. I had some Junkyard hard cider early in the year. Maybe that'll make a comeback. It'll be a Junkyard Ultra next week. I don't know. We'll see. But yes, no, I think that's it. Yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else. If anybody is in the Charlotte area, January 4th, 2025, yours truly will be there. Both you and I for Collision at the Bojangles Coliseum in Charlotte. Tickets, I think, went on sale today or tomorrow. So if you're in the Charlotte area and want to check out some pro wrestling, go check out Collision. Obviously, Raw is coming in February 17th in Charlotte. So good chance to watch some pro wrestling. AEW in January and WWE in February. Use that SeatGeek code. Get your tickets for either one of those shows. I think some are on the some for both shows are on that site. So yeah, other than that, just stay saucy, friends. Stay saucy.
All right, y'all. Like you said, stay saucy. We'll see you. We'll see you Tuesday on the Slap and Meat show, and next Thursday. Plan to be here. If we're not here, then you don't have to stay. But plan to be here next Thursday. We'll try and see about making a live stream for y'all. But until then, say it one more time for me, my friend, to lead us off.
Stay saucy, friends.
Girl with an ass like Anna J. Anna J. Anna J.